Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Leela Web Dev. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of the DNS. So we are trying to learn about the DNS thing, or we call it as a domain name system. So what is this DNS? So what is the meaning of this DNS and why we use this DNS? Let's try to learn about this. So have you ever wondered how typing google.com into your browser magically connects you to a website? So it's not a magic, actually it is a DNS. So for example, let's say that when you are trying to open your Chrome browser or anything, Edge browser or any Firefox, so you will directly type google.com or any microsoft.com. So like this, you will try to type it. And automatically the browser, automatically it will open a website. So how this is happening? So I told you that every system will be connected to a unique address that is nothing but an IP address. The IP address you'll be having something like an 120 dot something like that dot like IPv4 address will be having. But something like google.com, it's not an IP address. So how come it is able to open a website? So that means how come it is able to connect to a server? So nothing but a device. So which has an IP address. So it's because of the DNS. In this video, we will break down what DNS is, how it works, and even touch some cool stuff like DNS hijacking. So grab a snack, hit the subscribe button, and let's get started about this one. So now, so let's try to learn first one. What is DNS? So first of all, let's try to learn what is DNS. First things first, on the internet, normally the computers talk to each other using IP address. So this is the common thing which we have learned up to now. Those numerical codes like 172.217.0.1. So this is the IP address. Normally every device when it is connected to the network, you will be having this one. But let's be real, typing a string of numbers to visit a website isn't exactly user friendly. So when I tell you, for example, let's say that you have an application or a website and you want to tell your website to the public or to your friends or something like that. If you want to tell, it means, so telling that my website address is something error, something like 172.217.0.1 means it doesn't look like an user friendly. So that is the where DNS comes into picture. So DNS or the domain name system is like the internet's phone book. It takes the human readable domain names like google.com or yahoo.com and translate them into the IP address that computers can understand. So this is what the DNS is. So that means whatever the things the user is trying to type google.com or yahoo.com, it will try to convert these human readable domain names into an IP address. So that is what the DNS does exactly. So now think of a DNS server as a giant database that stores as a table. So which it will have a table. This table says, hey, google.com, that is 172.217.0.1. When you type a domain name into your browser, the DNS server looks up the corresponding IP address and connects you to the directly and connects you to the right server. Simple, right? But powerful it is. So this is what the thing. So DNS server, whenever you are, so the DNS server, it will have a giant database. So which for every human readable address, you will be having the IP address name. So whenever you are having this one all, so whenever you try to type the google.com, it will try to search in the DNS table that what is the corresponding IP address for this google.com. So when it finds it, automatically the DNS server sends you the correct, so right server it will do. Simple, but it is very much powerful. So this is what exactly the DNS is. So now you will be able to understand what is DNS. Now what I want to tell you about this one is, so how DNS actually works. Let's try to see. We understood what is the DNS. Let's try to see how DNS works. Let me paste here. Yeah. Let's say that let's break down what happens when you type google.com into your browser. So this is what you need to understand clearly. So when you type google.com into your browser and hit enter, here is the step-by-step process what will happen. First of all, your computer contacts the DNS server. So that is one server. Your laptop or phone is already connected to the DNS server thanks to your internet service provider and router. This DNS server is just another computer with an IP address and it's ready to help you. And where you can able to see this DNS IP address and all the things. So if you try to see here, so here you will be having this one, and in this Wi-Fi settings, if you try to check it here, let's go into the DNS details, and in these details you'll be able to see the DNS, and this is my DNS server which is provided directly by your ISP. So this is what I am trying to explain you. Okay, so now I will try to show you this one also one by one. So let's try to close these all the things. Your computer contacts the DNS server. Your laptop phone is already connected to the DNS server thanks to your ISP, internet service provider, who has given you the internet and router. This DNS server is just another computer. So this DNS server, don't think that it is just another computer with an IP address and it's ready to help you. The DNS server looks up the domain name. Your computer sends a request saying, yo DNS server, what is the IP address for the google.com? The DNS server checks its massive table of domain names and IP address. Then the DNS server responds. So it finds google.com in its table and sends back the IP address. Let's say 172.217.0.1 to your computer. And your computer connects to the website. Armed with the IP address, your computer now knows exactly where to go. It sends a request to the Google server, which responds with HTML, CSS and other files that make up the website you see. So this is what this whole process is called as an DNS lookup. And it happens, these all the things in milliseconds, so you don't even notice it. So pretty cool, right? So how we can check the DNS in your network settings? So let's try to see. So how you can able to see your DNS in the network settings. I already showed you. Just I will try to show you in a simple way. Okay, let's try to see. So how we can check your DNS in your network settings? So want to see DNS in action on your own device? Let's check it out. On a Mac or anything, when you go to your Wi-Fi settings, let's go to our Wi-Fi settings. So this is our Wi-Fi settings, and click on the details here and find the DNS section. Here, this is the DNS section. And here you'll be able to see the IP address. On Windows and Linux, you will find something similar in your network settings. So let's try to zoom in your DNS IP servers. So here you'll be able to see. Here you will see the IP address of the DNS server, like 49.205.174.194. So here my ISP has already automatically provided. So these IP addresses are automatically set up by your ISP and the router. So you don't have to worry about configuring them. Your computer is always connected to your DNS server as long as you are online. So that is the thing which I want to tell you. So now you can also able to check in your device also. But here is the fun part. You can actually change these DNS servers also. So you could switch back to the public DNS like Google's 8.8.8.8 or even set up your own DNS server. Why would you do that? Well, keep watching because it ties into something called as an DNS hijacking. So what is this DNS hijacking? Let's try to learn about this one. So now let's talk about this concept that is nothing but DNS hijacking. What is this DNS hijacking? So let's try to see. Now let's talk about something bit shady that is nothing but DNS hijacking. Hackers can mess you with your DNS settings to redirect you to a rogue DNS server one they control. So now let's try to say, imagine that type in google.com. But instead of going into the Google server, that rogue DNS server sends you to a malicious website set by the hacker. That site could send you harmful files or try to steal your information. Scary, right? That is why it's important to make sure your DNS settings are always secure and so that you are using trusted DNS server. You can even add or remove DNS server in your network settings to stay safe. So that is what about your DNS server. So can we able to build our own DNS server? Yes, we can able to build our own DNS server. So how we can able to build it is, so now here I will try to show you. Here is a fun fact. What I want to tell you is you can actually build your own DNS server. DNS is a protocol built on the top of TCP and sometimes UDP also, which are the foundational protocols on the internet. Using something like Node.js, you could create a DNS server from scratch. So your do-it-yourself DNS server would have a table mapping domain names to the IP address, just like the big DNS servers. While you can probably don't need to build one yourself since your ISP handles this for you, it is totally possible. In fact, on Linux also, you can set up a DNS server with a simple command like DNSMASQ and define your own tables. So like that also you can able to do it. So that is not right. Why DNS matters? So why we need to use the DNS? Why DNS matters? DNS is the unsung hero of the internet. Without it, we would all be memorizing IP address to visit our favorite websites. Not exactly practical. Every time you buy a domain or set up a website, your domain gets added to the DNS servers worldwide so people can find you. Whether you are browsing, streaming, or gaming, DNS is working behind the scenes to make sure you are connected to the right place. And understanding how it works gives you a peek into the magic of internet. So that's it guys about this one. So I think that you pretty much you got an idea how DNS works behind the scenes. So and that's it, DNS in a nutshell. From translating domain names to the IP address to keeping the internet running smoothly. DNS is everywhere. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and let me know in the comments if you want more videos on networking on internet tech. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.